Hello, everyone. My name is Marina Zaki, and this is my evaluation methodology. So, my topic is destigmatization of mental health in Coptic Orthodox communities that are living here in the United States. So, the problem that I've identified is that there is a general lack of representation of Coptic Orthodox individuals within the field of mental health, and that's pertaining to their representation in research as well as in treatment. And that's not for lack of need. There are definite mental health needs within the community that are not being um, helped or recognized within the community. And the purpose of this evaluation is to determine the contributing factors. So we believe that there is a general stigma within the community, but we want to determine what those contributing factors to that stigma are so that we can stop the perpetuation of this problem. And then through that needs assessment evaluation, we would want to determine if there are any other potential problems within the community that are pertaining to this mental health need that need to be addressed. So for the quantitative method that I could potentially use, I would use a correlational survey, which basically means that you're looking at two different um, aspects of this issue that could be affecting each other. So you're basically determining a causation between the two. So for my group, I would be using two groups, first generation Coptic individuals and then second generation. So basically individuals that were born here and then those who came at a later age. So those who were raised in Egypt, which is the majority of individuals within the population. And that would be because I'm trying to determine, again, those contributing factors to the problem. So, is it an issue of the dominant culture under which they were raised, or is it within the community itself? And this would help me to determine what exactly that causation is. And then again, if those two groups are affecting each other. So this survey would be implemented primarily online. We would get into contact with clergy members in order to first get their permission to be able to contact individuals within the congregations across the Los Angeles diocese. And then we would be able to reach them, implement this survey, so send the link to the survey on WhatsApp, Facebook, however else they are communicating with their clergy. The clergy members are communicating with their congregations. The questions would be a combination of multiple choice and Likert scale. There would be about 10 to 15 questions that are regarding the perspectives of individuals pertaining to mental health as well as their experience. So, have they experienced any treatment? Do they know anyone who has? How willing would they be to be open about this within the community? That sort of thing. After collecting the data, we would enter it into SPSS in order to, again, get that summary. And there would be no follow up contact, so no follow up interviews or surveys or anything of that sort. Um, and then again, why would I use this in my, why would this be helpful to my project? Well, online is very easily accessible. And then, especially for the second generation individuals, that seems to be the best method of contact for them. So it would definitely be something where we could reach a very wide variety of individuals within the community very easily, and there would be very little cost because it would be all online. And then again, it would be very simple to compile all of that data because there's no paperwork really involved and that sort of thing. It would just be there for us online. As for a qualitative method, if I were to use this, I would conduct face to face interviews at church, again with permission from the clergy. So, most likely after church services, when we have a wide variety of individuals, we would be able to contact the members again through those methods of contact or whatever is determined to be best by the clergy members. It would be completely voluntary, but we would reach out to members to see if they would be willing to participate. Perhaps we could again post up after church services and then ask if they would be willing to participate in these short interviews. The interviews would be about 15 to 20 minutes. There would be about 11 questions. That's not including the probes that we might ask in order to get a little bit more information. We would be hoping to get about 150 to 200 people. We would contact clergy members at about 4 to 5 churches across the Los Angeles diocese. And diocese, if I haven't discussed that before, is basically the group of churches that are within the Los Angeles, Southern California area. And then again, the interviewers that conduct the interviews then would code those interviews. And then after that preliminary initial data is collected, we would conduct follow-up interviews. And that would mainly be pertaining to their experience in the interviews so that we could identify, were there any limitations? Were there any outside factors which may have affected the data so that we could kind of take that into consideration as well. And why would this be helpful to my project? Well, face-to-face interviews, we would be able to see the body language and the facial, expressions as they're answering the questions, and that unspoken communication, which could be very viable information as well, other than what is being said. And then again, this opens the door to things that we might not be even considering to be contributing factors. It could very well be that what we're thinking is actually not the reason for this underrepresentation that we're noticing within the literature and within the field. It could be completely different. So this really opens the door to, again, perspectives that we're not considering. As for mixed methodology, if I were to utilize this, there would be, again, that quantitative measure and then the qualitative measure. So for the quantitative portion of this mixed method, I would implement a short questionnaire similar to the survey but different. This would not be correlational. So again, it would be towards just the general congregations through those communication methods, WhatsApp, Facebook, however else the churches utilize that. And these questions would be simply on a Likert scale. It would be a little bit of a shorter survey. The questions would range from not at all to very much, and then they would just be pertaining to perspectives of mental health. So again, just how they think about treatment and diagnosis, and then would they be willing to, participate in that. The questionnaire would be completely confidential. There would be an option to provide their phone number, and that would be entered into a raffle for, a gift card or some kind of other prize. And then again, this would also be online, just for simplicity and because of cost. And then for the qualitative portion, about 6 months after those questionnaires are implemented, we would contact those who did provide their phone number on the questionnaire in order to ask follow-up questions, again, pertaining to those perspectives on mental health, and, how they think about it, so that we kind of get that almost like a longitudinal feel, because it would be 6 months later. Why would we do this? Well, we would be getting the best of both worlds here. We'd be getting that quantitative aspect with the benefits of that, as well as the qualitative with the benefits of that. We would be able to get those numbers that we want from the questionnaire, but then we would, again, be opening the door to those more qualitative aspects in which we might be getting information that we're not expecting, that we're not considering, different perspectives that are outside of our realm. And here are my references.